Hey everybody. I am doing this video today because God's been harping on me about something for a little bit, and I'm just finally giving in. And there's a reason I'm giving in. So there's a reason I'm doing this today. We just came back from church a little bit ago, and the sermon today was basically directed straight at me. I mean, God literally like picked up my pastor and knocked me over the head with it. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I'll explain. I'll explain why. Okay, so the sermon today is was in Judges 6, and I'm going to kind of set you up as far as the story goes, and just give you the gist of it. At the beginning of chapter 6 of Judges, where we are is, the Israelites had been delivered out of Egypt, and God had been, he'd taken care of them for so long, but they just kept doing bad stuff, right? Kept sinning against him. And in the beginning of chapter 6, it literally says the Israelites were doing evil in the sight of the Lord. And so he was just, like, guys, you're stranded. Y'all are just going to hang out right here and and fend for yourselves for a while. I want you to kind of like maybe it's kind of like being grounded when I ground my kids for doing something wrong. Okay, you guys need to think about this. But after 7 years of being terrorized by the Midianites, Amalekites, and other various Middle Eastern groups that would come in and just like raid and raid their lands and pillage, and every time the Israelites would grow some crops to try and feed their families, the Midianites would come in and just destroy everything. So 7 years later, they're like, God, help us. This is getting really bad here. Can you help us? Okay, so that's the setup. Then one day, the angel of the Lord comes down, has a seat under this oak tree, and he's right there near this guy working on threshing some wheat. Just a normal guy, just threshing some wheat. And he comes over to the normal guy, and he says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." And I'm sure Gideon, his name is Gideon, I'm sure Gideon was like, what? He's probably thinking, who is this guy? Right? I mean, if someone came up to you and said something like that, I'm not sure what you'd think, but my first thought wouldn't be, oh, hey, angel. Okay, so he just comes up and tells Gideon, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. So Gideon, the first words out of his mouth were something to the effect of, oh, yeah? Well, if God is with us, then why has all this bad stuff been happening? And the angel is replying, did God not deliver y'all out of Egypt? I mean, hello. I mean, what more do you want? You guys just keep doing bad stuff, right? But he turned to him and said, give an order. He said, go in the strength that you have and deliver Israel out of Midian's hand. And Gideon was probably like, what? Who, me? Are you talking to me? I mean, because I think I would be thinking the same thing. And he says, but Lord, how can I save Israel? And he literally says this, my clan is the weakest of the bunch, and I'm like the least of my family. Who am I? What can I offer, right? Are you sure you're talking to the right guy? I can just imagine that happening because been there. And so he's asking about that. He's God's telling him several times, dude, you've got my favor. I'm with you, and you're going to do great things. And every time God tells him, he's just like, I don't, this is not my thing. I think you want to talk to one of my brothers or something. But he says, Gideon, he's like, okay, I guess this is a possibility. Maybe this really is the angel of the Lord. So I better be careful, trod carefully. And he says, okay, if this is really, you know, you and you really, really want me to do this, then I'm gonna need a sign. What more signs can you need? But he says, okay, so to the angel of the Lord, okay, you just hang out right here, okay? Don't go anywhere. Just hang out right here. I'm gonna go prepare my offering, and I'll come back and lay it at your feet. So I'm sure the angel of the Lord was like, okay, I'll wait. I can just imagine this happening. And so Gideon goes off and he prepares his offering, a goat and some unleavened bread and some broth. Comes back and he sets it at the feet of the angel of the Lord. And the angel says, okay, take the meat and the bread and set it on that rock over there. Just pour the broth out. So Gideon does so. And I'm sure Gideon's standing there kind of watching to see what's going on. Am I going to see my sign? You know, he wants proof. So the angel of the Lord takes the tip of his staff and touches the meat and the bread, and fire flows up out of the rock, consuming the meat and the bread. I can just imagine Gideon's face, what his next thought would be. Oh, you are him. Okay, and you're wanting me to grab some guys and save Israel. Got it. I you don't have to, tell me 10 times. I can just see him standing there watching the fire flame up out of a rock and thinking, "Oh, you really did want me to do this." Okay. So the reason that this spoke to me, and I love the story of Gideon. I love as you go on a little bit further, you learn a little bit more. And I challenge you guys to have a look at this. It's an awesome story. It really is. It's one of my favorites actually. But the reason it spoke to me so much is because I have been in this situation for a little while. I think God talks to all of us in little things, tells us things that we should or shouldn't do. I think He lays it on our heart. Well, it's been a few months probably, and I believe God was trying to tell me to do a particular thing. And at first I was like, sounds cool, but that's probably not something. It's probably not for me. But then I hear it from another source. Someone else tells me, "Hey, you should really do this thing. I think that would be a good thing for you to do." And of course, at that point, I'm like writing it off to coincidence. That's a coincidence that I'm hearing about it, in 5 different places, and continue on like that. Well, I get to church this morning. We're sitting there, and he begins this sermon. And all of a sudden, I was like, God's standing right behind me or something. He's ready to knock me in the head because I can feel it. I know exactly what's going on. He didn't get not even halfway into the sermon. And I was like, okay, I got you. I hear you. Message received. I'm on it. So, sometimes we do have to be kind of knocked in the head I don't know if it's to hear the message, to get the message, or to finally break down and agree. But sometimes that's just kind of what has to happen. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe we have to go through a certain amount of, I don't know, toying with the idea, battling ourselves back and forth. But in here, what this tells us is all we have to be is willing. When God tells us that He wants us to do something, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be going and sitting with an elderly neighbor that's really in need of, a friend to talk to. It could be taking food to a family that is in need. Or it could be speaking to a group of people who might possibly have the need to hear a particular message on a regular basis. And that is what I am agreeing to. That's what I will be doing. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys will enjoy in the future. You guys have a great day, and I will see you back here next Sunday.